Shilpa, first of all, I just want to say that I am so excited to be speaking with you. I've been watching your films and your journey as an actor since Khamosh Pani days, and now to see you in
Oh,
Criminal
wow.
Justice season 2 is very rewarding. So I just wanted to kind of acknowledge that before we start the interview. So welcome on Filmy Shilmi.
Ah, thank you so much, Anuj. Thank you. Really, it's an honor. Whenever anyone says to me that they've seen Khamosh Pani, my heart automatically opens up because that film is really special, very close to my heart. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But I think career-wise, Shilpa, 2020 has been a very interesting year for you as you're expanding your digital presence. How would you best describe your sentiments right now with the way your acting career is currently?
Mhm. Uh, Actually, I'm quite happy with the way it has unfolded because acting for me has always been a very meditative experience. It was never really it was never really for fame or success or any of those materialistic things that people think why we become actors. So for me, it has been a very internal process and a journey where I was never in a rush. I did not even watch movies when I got into films. And so somewhere I feel like I'm still untouched by so many things that happen in our profession. And I feel that's very important to retain the innocence the of the craft, you know and I like it. And when I came to Bombay, someone mentioned that some actors come with a 5-year plan, some come with a 50-year plan, and some come with no plan. And so I essentially came with no plans. So whatever I got,
Mm.
I have immense gratitude for everything, because people have recognized me, they've appreciated my work. And of course, now the world has changed with the web series coming into the scene. And it's one time that we've been talking about for past 10 years. We were saying that a time is going to come, a time is going to come. We didn't know it's going to come this way, but it has happened.
Yeah.
Whether it is
Mm.
the kind of scripts that we are getting, or the kind of characters that are coming our way, actors who have really worked on their craft for years, finally they are getting recognized. So I think it's a great time to be in. Yeah.
Absolutely. In fact, we'll be talking about that very shortly. But your character, Ishani Nath, seems to be someone who calls the shots. I mean, we only saw a glimpse of you in the trailer. We saw very thodi si jhalkiya. Literally, you have to pause the trailer and kind of see
Ah,
you in the trailer.
yeah.
But obviously, given the fact that you've kind of played like a head honcho before in a series like Raju Ben, for example, how did that help you with your character in criminal justice, if at all?
Yeah, Raju Ben was like many years back. So yeah, I mean, usually I do get characters who are in control, of things around them. And so Ishani Nath, of course, is a woman in control. She is at the center of the prison politics, and koi usse pange nahi le sakta hai kind of a character. She's a no nonsense woman essentially.
Yeah.
Uh, but she has shades of like she's not a black or a white character, I would say. And most of the characters, when I choose them, it's because of the grays that attract me the most. And if a character is negative, then also I'm looking for that point of redemption in the characters. For me, it is very important they should have, even for Bindiya, if in Chak, they like she has those last few minutes for redemption. Even in
Yeah.
BA Pass, Sarika had that moment of redemption.
Yes.
So even Ishani Nath for me was a very thin line, and I wanted to make sure, and I want my characters to be desirable at the end of the day, even though they may be negative mostly, but I want them to be desirable. And it's like life, we have to accept black and white and gray and everything. So
Hmm.
I completely enjoyed playing Ishani Nath, and I fell in love with the name actually to begin with. I thought that the name has really like good
spin to it.
good, क्या बोलते हैं, वजन है नाम में ना?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's got a
yeah,
good spin to it. That's true, actually.
yeah.
Because even when I read it, it was
Right,
quite
right.
surprising. You'd never think of a prisoner whose name is Ishani Nath. I mean, with due respect to anyone who's
Yeah.
obviously in prison and called Ishani Nath, for that matter, but you'd never really think of it that way. And I think that's what's really interesting, because the fact that it kind of catches you off guard. I think that's what I kind of found
Yeah,
really interesting as well about the name.
yeah,
But
yeah.
you were talking about you're kind of drawn towards characters which obviously have a sort of redemption to it, even if they are negative. But you, of course, you played a seductress in BA Pass, and God, what a role that was. I think it's very iconic in many ways, and I think it's definitely one of your finest performances, I think, as well. um
Thank you.
when you're playing such characters which are obviously problematic and dark, how do you as an actor get that correct balance in making sure that it doesn't get romanticized or glorified in any sort of way?
Yeah, I'm actually very conscious of that. In fact, nowadays when scripts come your way, there are like unnecessary abuses, and and
Hmm.
all of that, because apparently, that is what is working for the market. But I always, measure it in a way that, is it really important for the character? If it is not, then I like to change it.
Hmm.
And then I do make this offer to the writer or the director, and so again, it's a very thin line, and the process is different each time. Like some characters, you basically go from outside to inside. Some characters you go from inside to outside.
Right.
And also, I'll tell you something. I don't know the process really, because it just happens, and when it happens. And each time it's like, you give your face and your voice and everything for the character, but the character visits on their own, is what my theory is. They find you,
Hmm.
and if Shilpa is thinking too much, then Shilpa is coming in the way of the character. So Shilpa needs to like go
Yeah.
for the character to come, is
Hmm.
how I look at the whole process. It's like
Hmm.
patra means vessel. Patra means where you hold the character, the vessel in which you hold the character. So if I am full of myself, then the character will not come, is how I feel.
Right.
So it just happens. And so many times later when I watch the thing and I'm like, okay, the character came.
Hmm.
So mostly it has been a very out of body experience, really. And so
Yeah.
the art is also different from the artist, and I know, yeah, that like that.
Hmm. And I also
So
think it's very interesting you say that, because I think for any actor, I think switching on and off is the key skill to have, because you're switching between characters constantly. What would you say is I mean, what helps you switch on and off as an actor?
uh actually, there's just one source of it, and it's very simple. It's the breath. you know
Right.
yeah. And there's nothing else to it really. And people usually think that we get into the method and then it's difficult for us to come out of the character. I think all that is like glorification of the process. It's not true for me. And it's just the breath, and you hear action and the character comes, and you hear cut, the character goes. And of course, I mean, there may be changes. For some characters, you don't want to talk so much when you hear cut, even after that, because you want to hold the scene or the emotion or
Right.
something. But it's really very simple. There's no rocket science,
Hmm.
I feel. Yeah,
Okay. Well,
yeah.
it's good to hear that honest answer, because I feel sometimes when I do a lot of interviews, I feel like a lot of the artists have to kind of give a badha chadha ke sort of answer just to kind of sound intelligent and
Maybe
sound
if
like.
we did this interview 10 years back, maybe I also had, was thinking key acting is about. I mean, definitely it's a very, very deep process. It's a very intense process.
Yeah.
But but I cannot like verbalize what the process is really. It
Right.
just happens. It's spontaneous. Yeah.
Sure, sure. No, I understand that as well. But Chak De India really broke the glass ceiling for you. It's really interesting. Actually, Chak De India has played a very interesting dynamic, actually, because just earlier on, I had interviewed Vidya Malavade for
Yes.
Mismatched. So it's quite interesting.
Right.
Now I'm speaking with you. All I need is Chitrashi and Tanya, and there we go. We've had like the head kind of like people from Chak there. Of course, there's many more in the film as well. But it's quite interesting how it's played a bit of a connection in 2020. But of course, that film
Yeah.
kind of broke the glass ceiling for you in terms of commercial appeal you had. But besides career prospects, I mean, how else did life change for you post Chak there? Were you ever stuck with this sort of mold of being Bindiya Naik? Did you have to actively break free from that?
Yeah, initially, because I didn't understand and I was also very reactive. So I would go to the airport and people would be like, "Where's your team?" So it was fun in the beginning, and then initially it was a love-hate relationship. I'll be honest. Okay, and I would tell people that my name is Shilpa. It's not Bindiya, but now everything has changed. Like I've understood that entire graph, how it has helped me evolve as a person, accept who I am. And now when I remember I was in Syracuse and I was at a like a mela there, like a big mela there, and I'm
Mm.
watching something on stage, and there's someone behind, a family, and they're like throwing something and just wanting my attention to look at my face, and they're like, "We've seen you somewhere." I said, "किसी शादी में देखा होगा." So the face has become so familiar. I go to shops or very, they're like, "मैम आपको देखा है," and they're, "आप वही हो." So now it has become like, हाँ हाँ मैं आपके घर की हूँ. They're like, you know
Yeah.
exactly. And everyone that I meet recognizes me. And but that also does not come in my way of like how I want to live my life. Like if I'm taking a public transport, it does not intervene. It's not like crazy fan following ke,
Huh.
so like that. But it Bindia did become like a household name.
Definitely.
So
Even now,
so
actually, because people still
even now,
recognize
yeah.
you as Bindiya Naik now. I mean, I guess it can be a sort of like a blessing and a bit of a curse sometimes, right? Like it's sort of
It's a
balanced.
blessing. I'll tell you something. Now it's a blessing.
Yeah.
I mean, just when it had happened, because people would only come to me also, like even in the industry, only with intense characters, and so many projects I didn't do because I was being very honest with my feelings, and I just felt that I'm not going to be doing justice to the characters that are coming my way because I'm so sick of this intense tag, you know. And now also I'm still doing those intense roles, but my entire perspective has changed.
Hmm.
So yeah, so it was a
So
love
I
and
think,
hate.
yeah, because obviously you're at this stage now, where you've done so much work, you've been amazing in the sort of career trajectory that you've had. Um, and obviously the fact that you are very talented as well. But what significance does the OTT platforms like like Hotstar, for example, and a show like Criminal Justice, which is obviously in which you play a very meaty character. So what significance does that all hold for you as an artist?
Oh my God, it's a very, very beautiful time to be in because, the high point is that you get to work with such a beautiful ensemble of actors.
Hmm.
It's a dream come true, because even in movies, I mean, it's difficult to have like, all your favorites together in a movie. And Criminal Justice for me is honestly that, there is, and even the actors who are not known, but once you see the series, you'll know them. They are fantastic. And some of the girls in the prison, those actors, I mean, they blew my mind completely. And you realize that yes, everyone has been working on the craft somewhere. And for the casting director, really, like how she found these women and these actors, they were, every single person in frame that you'll see is like an artist you know
Hmm.
and so OTT is has changed the grammar of storytelling. It has changed everything for us. And it's a great time for writers, for directors,
Yeah.
and uh, and so now we really look forward to doing more work because again, as I mentioned earlier, कि ये वो समय है जिसकी बात हम 10 साल पहले कर रहे थे,
बिल्कुल.
and we didn't know how it is going to come.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. But you know what, Shilpa, it's been such an honor and privilege to have this conversation with you. Honestly, I think hopefully in the next project, we'll be able to speak a lot more in depth about your process and a lot more about your career. But I just wanted to wish you all the very best for Criminal Justice Season 2. I'm
Thank you
super
so much.
excited to watch it
Thank
on
you.
Christmas Eve, and I can't wait for your next future projects as well to emerge after that.
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you, Anush. Thank you so much. Pleasure talking.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Shilpa. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Bye.